Welcome back to another weekly installment
Installments.
of Pondering.
Oh, and
I guess to you, I
yeah.
guess. Yeah, I don't
So
know.
so this week, Tyler we were gonna do pet peeves, but I think we're just gonna put that off until like the next coming or
Yeah.
something. I
Oh
don't.
wait, we
Would
forgot
you?
to do introductions.
Oh, well, I'm
I'm
Ben Young.
I'm
He's
Tyler
Tyler
Neffield.
Neffield.
If you
Well,
haven't,
no, I'm Tyler Neffield, and he's Ben Young.
I'm Ben Young. Um,
Um. Yeah. So
Something doesn't match up with that.
anyway, we were actually gonna do pet peeves today, but then I was saying in my class. In my psych class, it was really boring today.
Mhm.
Like I started playing chess
Oh
online
wow, that's when you know it's
and
bad.
I even started doing other homework.
Wow.
But Tyler was like, he's like, we should do just like an unscripted idea episode. And I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, so like I guess a little bit of background. I am currently in a musical and I just had my
Hmm.
first rehearsal last night and
How is that? Like, what's the musical? Well, I know,
it's
but
a
like,
Spring Awakening. Um for those of you who don't know about Spring Awakening, I'm not really going to talk about it on here because we're going to keep this episode PG rated.
oh yeah, it's
Um
it's pretty interesting.
yeah, if you're interested in seeing the show, text me and I'll give you the details. But if you're listening to this and you are under the age of like
Eight, six,
it's
16.
16, don't look up Spring Awakening. Um, but yeah, and essentially it's just been like it's been really keeping me on my feet lately, and I'm just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like running around. Like today I was running around
Oh
and
my gosh.
I'm like, wait a minute, what if we just like did an episode that wasn't like we didn't have any ideas down about it at all, unscripted, and then did a little research in his psych class. So we're gonna let Chat GPT give us some like random questions. Yeah, Ben's looking up the
I'm
show
like,
right now.
yeah, I'm literally looking at Spring
Now
Awakening.
I want you to keep in mind that these are supposed to be like 15-year-olds essentially.
That's even worse. And this
Yeah.
is a Broadway show?
Yes, it's not
Let's
currently
see.
on Broadway.
Huh, anyway.
Wait, we're gonna go mute for a second so I can tell Ben just like two funny parts about this show.
Uh-oh.
So after we did those funny scenes, like the room was just it was electric, and we're like, "Wow, this is gonna be so funny."
I would never have it in me to do that. That's like,
We do have an intimacy coordinator,
that's
like
crazy.
a woman who is gonna guide everyone through certain aspects of intimacy in the show because there's like the littlest bit of intimacy from hand holding to your biggest and wildest dreams. Okay, moving on to the actual
And that is how
podcast.
Tyler met his wife.
Unfortunately, not yet.
We're just gonna talk about well, with this one, it was like talk about like recent news, but Tyler brought up like like what'd you say?
Yeah, the Michael Jackson biopic.
I don't know what
This
that
suddenly
means.
becoming a news podcast. So I'm gonna just look up on my phone Michael Jackson biopic. If you don't know about the Michael Jackson biopic,
Don't know about it.
um, I'm sure you've heard of or at least seen Bohemian Rhapsody, Rocket Man, those movies that are based off of.
Yes.
Okay,
Hmm.
so that is this,
Oh,
right?
Okay, so they're making a movie.
I
Yeah, I
believe
saw
it
that.
is coming out April 18th, 2025.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
not this April, following April.
Yeah, yeah.
They're currently in the process of filming. And the biggest thing that everybody is talking about is Jafar Jackson, Michael Jackson's nephew, is
Hmm.
playing Michael Jackson.
Okay,
And
sick. Yeah.
from the pictures, let me tell you,
Let me see.
the resemblance is quite uncanny.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really
And
good.
there's
Yeah.
videos of him dancing and everything.
Hmm.
And like here's another pic like it's
Oh,
pretty
wow.
incredible. Like if you're looking
Yeah.
on the video right now, like it is pretty incredible.
That is pretty good.
Um
I can't even
so
lie.
yeah, I am unbelievably excited. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan and Yeah, so that's been in the news a lot recently. A lot of leaked pictures. Um, yeah, there's like a video of him dancing to like "Man in the Mirror," and that went viral for a hot second. Here I'll show Ben, but like, I mean, like
Oh
he's
yeah.
got it.
Yeah, I could see
Like,
that.
look at this.
No, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, like he's
Hmm.
got it,
I
y'all.
like that. I like that
Yeah.
idea.
What about you? What's been in your news lately?
So like I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to look up something to talk about,
Uh-huh.
but I realized I was at work on like Tuesday or something. Oh yeah, Dean, I work with Dean.
Uh-huh.
And Dean goes, so the first thing, one of the first thing he says to me is, he goes, so when am I going to be on the podcast? And I was like, yo, I totally forgot. And that was like the funniest thing ever. But then what I say to everyone that asks me is kind of like, well, what do you have to offer?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I try to say too. Or
It-
I know I'll always be like, they'll be like, "Yo, when am I going to be on the podcast?" I'm gonna be like, "Anytime. What do you got to talk about?" And
yeah,
they're like,
I
"I'll
don't
talk
know.
about anything."
Well, then no.
No, like we can get anybody to. We talk about
Yeah,
anything.
we talk about anything, but
Like
like,
we need some like the best example I give to people that are like, what do I talk about? Bridget, when she was on the podcast, she talked about her challenge theory, and that is so unique to her. Nobody else could have presented that.
well, really, people should just bring like topics they're passionate about and
Yeah.
have their own spin on it. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
if you want
yeah.
to talk about like, I don't know, if you talk about like music, but like something that's like controversial, but like
Yeah.
general, like because like we can do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, talk about something like cool for real.
Yeah, for real.
Anyway, so I was at work, right? And I work in the back in the kitchen, and this guy pulls up this phone. He's like, "Hey, did you hear about the person that just like pulled down their pants and like just took a massive dump at Walmart?" And I
What?
think they said the Walmart in Greensburg. I'm not really sure. I think he said I
Hold
tried
on.
looking it up. I couldn't
Oh,
find
okay,
it.
never mind. I was
Like
gonna
he
say I
was
could
on
look.
Facebook and he showed me a picture and I knew it was on Facebook, but I never asked him. But like imagine like just like in the middle of Walmart by the like game aisle and the
Wow.
clothes at that intersection place. There's just a massive like
Mound of poop.
mound of fecal matter. And
Yeah.
it was just guarded by like this like Walmart employees just there. It's like it was like move, don't like don't step on it. It was really funny. Yeah, yeah.
Dang.
I can't find it. I tried looking for it, but it just
That's
never really
crazy.
existed. I'm just kind of sad I never found it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Is it what's next to talk about? Random generated question.
Well, it says audience questions, but we don't really have questions from the audience. It says engage in open dialogue. So like,
Open dialogue.
what'd you do this past weekend?
Oh, what did I do this past weekend? It was kind of like my last weekend of freedom a little bit.
For oh yeah, facts.
Because I was like, this is
Yeah.
the last weekend before musical starts, and
Mm-hmm.
like it's like the last time I can be like, okay, I have 2 hours and I don't have anything to do, so I'm going to do nothing. But this past weekend went to a party on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite fun. There was a DJ there. It was like in the basement of a house. Um, yeah, yeah, I'll leave it at
That's
that.
that's
But yeah,
funny.
there was a party, went to a basketball game. Yeah, and I got to see my grandmother and mom, and I'm going home so you're listening to this on Thursday. I'll be going home tomorrow, Friday, and Ben's gonna cut my hair on Friday. Speaking of that, my hair needs a bath haircut. Like
Oh,
my hair looks good. If you're looking on the camera right now, it looks good, but like it sticks up in the back when it's bad.
it's
It's
okay.
just
We'll
so
cut it.
like over my ears, you
Yeah,
see it?
yeah, yeah.
It's getting a bit
It's
shaggy.
okay.
But yeah, that's
I'll cut it.
what'd you do this past weekend?
I went home. I started to play tennis. I'm playing tennis again, which I
Oh,
really enjoy. But the problem is, it rains a bit. It rains on Thursdays, and that's whenever I go play, which really
where do you
sucks.
play? You play here at Pitt?
Yeah, I play just like Shenley
Intramural
Park.
or?
No, no, just Shenley Park.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, I play with my brother. But it's just sad because like I'm getting into it again, and I'm getting these blisters on my hand,
Ooh.
which like I didn't think were gonna come up that fast, but like
Okay, well, to be fair, it's gonna get. warm here the next
Yeah. Well,
like as of now we're recording this, it's about 50 degrees outside, but tomorrow it's gonna be like a high of 59. And then on Saturday it's gonna get cold again.
yeah.
But then after that it's all 50, 60 from
Well,
there.
the problem isn't the weather. The problem is the temp. Like, sorry, it's not the temperature. It's that it's gonna rain, and like it's
Actually,
hard to play with like wet balls.
what?
Wet
Um,
tennis balls at least.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna send this because Chris was on the podcast. You know Chris. My friend
Yes, I know,
Christopher
Chris.
Ireland. He sent this in our group chat. That's like our
Christopher.
whole side of our floor, and
Uh-huh.
it's essentially like PA spring timeline, and it's really funny. So it goes winter, full spring, second winter, spring of deception, third winter, the
Oh,
pollinating,
I hate that.
actual spring, summer, hell's front porch, false fall, second summer, actual fall, which that's incredibly true.
What is it? What's Hell's front porch? What does that
It
mean?
gets incredibly hot, which
Oh
I know
yeah,
exactly. Like
yeah.
August, like when it hits August or even like September, there's a day, like I remember at GCC, like there'd be days where it would get incredibly sweltering. And one time they actually canceled school
I do remember
because it was
that. That
so
was really
incredibly hot.
funny.
Like it was, I mean, it was probably 100 degrees in the building,
Yeah,
Like,
I remember. Last summer. I was walking around Pittsburgh doing stuff, and it was just like I was just melting. It was
yeah,
awful.
yeah,
It was so incredibly
yeah.
awful.
I'm looking forward to spring because Groundhog said early spring, but also spring, it's not that summer weather, but it's that summer feeling. You know what I
I
mean?
like it when it's cool and a little bit windy, but it's nice. I'm wearing shorts and like I get to
Yeah.
smell that city like schmutz and like
Oh,
at the beeping of the cars and like the scammers that try to scam. You know, tell that story. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know those people that stand on like Phipps or not Phipps, Fifth and like Fifth, and they ask you for your money? You ever see these people?
yeah, I know what you're talking. Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know
yeah,
if I
yeah.
ever told that story, but like,
I don't
yeah,
think you have.
it's quite tragic.
Yeah.
It's quite tragic because I walked out of a interview or not an interview like this meeting I had with my professor and it was just like it was pretty good so I was pretty happy and this girl stopped me. Well, her tactic was to stand like I was walking, she stood right in front of me to say hi, and I
Oh,
was just like, you know what? I think I will go give them the time of day because I was like, I think they're Pitt students trying to do something. So I was like, okay, I'll listen, I'll hear them
yeah.
out for a second. It turns out they were asking for money for kids with cancer. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Wait, is it were they? Oh my gosh,
So
wait.
do you know right it's right in front of the student
Okay,
center.
I think I was out with some theater people after my acting class, right? It was cool
Hmm.
because we like everybody was just there in the eatery.
Yeah.
And they were talking about this, I think,
Yeah.
where it was like
Yeah.
talking about people with leukemia.
Ooh.
Was it that?
Well,
Where
maybe they
they
changed
always
it.
say, "Hey, you with the nice haircut," and that's how they lead in. They're like kids with leukemia, right?
No, well,
Maybe
they
it's different
no, it's
people.
different because
Oh, okay,
well,
okay.
I don't know about that one, but this is kids with cancer, and the way she got me was that she stood right in front of me, and like I normally would just move, but like I don't know, the meeting with my professor made me kind of like like
Yeah,
happier.
you were in a good
I
goofy
was
kicking your
yeah,
feet
so I was
mood.
like I guess I was like, I got time, let me listen. And she's basically she said kids with cancer and I was like, okay, well I'm gonna give you like $3 I have in my wallet because like whatever. But she was like, no, we don't accept that. We accept card only. And I was like, yeah, no,
What?
screw off, man. And then she was like, she was like, where do you live? Like she needs to know email where I live. And I was like, yeah, I don't know the address of my building, my dorm, which I don't really know. Like I would have to look it up and
Yeah.
stuff. She goes, well, like, just use this. Like, she goes, oh, you live on like Fifth because I was on Fifth. I was like, no, I don't live on Fifth. I live on top of the hill. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, I was like, I don't live like I'm not giving you my home address because that's just weird. And then she was just like, man, you're just like taking so long. She's getting kind of mad. I thought it was really funny. And then at one point, she's like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna do this some other day, and I just left. And then just recently,
Yeah.
last week, because it's warmer out. When it's warmer out, the scammers will come out and this Asian lady walked in front of me and she goes, "Are you a nice guy?" And I just walked away. I
I
was
guess you
like,
weren't a nice guy.
so I was like, guess I wasn't. But I was like, I was so like shocked by that. I was like, I don't know what to say. Like one of
Yeah.
these days, I'm just gonna be like, sorry, man, I don't speak English and walk away because I was thinking about that.
How are you gonna say sorry I don't speak English in
Exactly,
English?
exactly like that. I'm just be like, sorry, I don't speak English, man. Just leave.
But you gotta say it like,
Well, I want to stun them. No, 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 I don't got to because they'll be like, but he just said so. Like, do
oh,
you know that one episode of Family Guy where Brian's sitting in the back of this like truck and he's talking to like he's like in like Mexico or something. They're speaking Spanish and he's trying to like get like someone to speak English. And this one guy says like he speaks English, but he only speaks like he can only say I know to speak English or whatever in English, and then he just speaks Spanish in the whole movie.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
kind of like that, which I think
yeah.
is really funny.
Gotcha.
So, I might do that one
Yeah,
of these days, and I'll tell you guys how it goes after
yeah.
that.
Well, there you go.
Um,
What else we got on this unscripted question here?
um, so what do you think about like this isn't on it, but I'm just like, would you
Oh
ever
yeah.
become vegan?
Ooh.
Like, I've had like Impossible Burger and like
Uh-huh.
Impossible Meat and like that other one. What's it called?
It,
Beyond Meat or
oh,
whatever.
Beyond Burger. Yeah,
Beyond
yeah.
like I ate all of those with my brother and like we tested them like the Impossible Burger it's pretty good like it's
Yeah,
not
it's
bad
good.
like it doesn't taste like meat but like it tastes like not like beans and like processed stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I would I would eat it but maybe not like every single day or
Yeah.
anything.
Here's my thing with it, right? Like, no, obviously no offense to anybody who is vegan or vegetarian. Wait, what's vegetarian?
Vegan, vegetarian, I don't even know, man.
Yeah, look up the difference because I forget the difference.
One just doesn't one eats meat, doesn't eat meat, and that's it, like any kind of
Oh,
meat,
and then the
and
other
then
one's like fish and stuff,
no,
right?
and the other one's
Or
like no animal products too. So no
oh
like milk,
yeah.
eggs, stuff like that.
While Ben's looking that up, after we get the definition, I'm gonna kind of gauge.
Vegetarians don't eat any food products made from meat, and vegans don't eat any fruit products that come from animals. So vegans,
Vegans are all products from
yeah, so
animals.
vegans are no milk, no eggs, stuff like that. Strictly like plant-based
And
and
then
like
vegetarians are no
meat.
fish, meat.
Yes, but they'll eat like eggs, milk, stuff like
Yeah.
that, cheese. Yeah.
Which I never um I mean like I never see myself ever doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean maybe if I wasn't like allowed to eat that or something, maybe there was a specific like medical condition or something or
Wait,
I don't know.
wait, what do you okay.
Like
Well, you
if
don't have a choice if it's a medical
yeah,
condition
yeah, yeah,
because it's like
exactly.
you
That's
have
the only
to.
reason like I would.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
But like I'm also like Byzantine Catholic, as you know.
I do know, yes.
Um, and it's essentially the same thing to those of you listening as Roman Catholicism, except I also have to abstain from meat on Wednesdays as well as Fridays. So like that's not terrible. Like I
Uh-huh.
don't have too much trouble for it, but it's also just like something I do because it's part of my religion. But like concerning like vegetarians and
Uh-huh.
vegans, I don't think I'd ever do that. But I also like maybe I'm like stirring the pot a little bit, but like I feel like when you do it because you're like, oh, like don't kill animals,
Yeah.
um, it's not like chickens are gonna go extinct. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
maybe that's wrong, maybe that's harsh, but like there's like animals like rhinoceroses, right?
What about
Like that
them?
are on like the verge of
Oh yeah,
extinction.
like white horn rhinos or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
So like if I was like being a vegan from like rhinos, like that I can understand.
Hmm.
That's just my take on it. But what did you find out here?
I
Oh
just
my.
well, I just realized that my enter key doesn't say enter, it says return, and I never realized that until right now. Not like
Oh,
enter. So like,
that's strange.
yeah.
Return.
Um, what was I gonna say? Do you tell that story about how it was Friday in New York City and like the meat?
Oh my
So
gosh. I
funny.
was just thinking about that. Okay. So we've talked about our New York trip on here before,
Uh-huh.
but if you don't know what we're talking about and you're new here, Ben and I, as well as our senior class, well, it was more than like 30 of us. It had to be at least 35, 40 of us, right? We all took a coach bus to New York, and we were there for 3 days, I think.
Yeah,
I think it was
it
three
was like
days. It
yeah.
was the beginning of March, in 2023,
Mm-hmm.
and Lent was going on at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
And I just mentioned obviously abstaining from meat.
We are in Lent as we
Yeah, we
speak.
are in Lent. Um, Now we went to Hard Rock Cafe, and here's the crux of it, right? I was like, oh my gosh, like what am I gonna get from Hard Rock Cafe? Because I have to abstain from meat because we were a big group. They had a special menu
Like a
created
set
for us.
menu,
Yeah,
so
like a
like
set menu.
we didn't kill their
Yeah, so somebody
yeah.
wasn't ordering like salmon, and they because it would have taken probably hours to make the food,
Yeah.
if we got
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
really wanted. Luckily they had an impossible
Burger.
burger,
Yeah, burger,
no
yeah.
meat, right? So I'm like, oh yeah, like perfect, right? Everybody, it was a Wednesday, I think,
No, it
right?
was a Friday.
Was it a
Yeah, it
Friday?
was a Friday. Had to have been Friday.
Hmm. Okay, it was a Friday then, I guess. Right.
It could have been Wednesday because
Yeah, you're right.
was it? No, it was a weekend trip.
So it had to have been Friday.
Yeah, because everyone, no, it had to have been Friday because everyone abstained from meat. And like,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm not Byzantine, so I don't do that. Yeah.
So I'm okay. There's a lot of people who didn't care, I guess, and they got meat,
Well,
right?
here's the thing, right? Our religion teacher's like traveler's dispensation,
Uh,
which like is a running joke with us because like that's just kind of like a cop out thing that doesn't like I don't know who gave that. I've like don't really know what that
it's just not
is.
real, essentially.
That's my
It
thing.
is real, but like I don't know how you would get that unless like I don't know, maybe a cardinal was going on a mission trip or something to a country where they have to offer meat on this day
Well,
or
yeah.
something, like, and then the Pope or maybe a bishop or something would be like a dispensation for whatever.
Well, here's the thing. You just abstain another day. You know,
Yeah,
it's not that big of a
exactly.
deal.
Yeah.
But the thing with us is like that's just kind of like oh, that's cop out. Like that's lame. You're kind of soft, so like you just do it anyway. You
Yeah.
know.
Okay, regardless though,
Yeah.
continuing the story. So I got the burger and I got it and I bit into it. First of all, there was bacon on
That
it.
was
There was
oh,
bacon on it. And I was like, oh, there's bacon on it. Like, oh wow, I'll just take the bacon off.
I did
Take
not
the
realize that.
Yeah, I take the bacon off.
Hmm.
I'm like, but because I was like, I didn't think I ordered bacon with it. I'm eating them. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is the best like burger I've ever had. It's like not meat. I'm turning around. I'm telling like you and Thomas. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely
I
incredible.
remember it was so funny.
And then
Oh.
I think Tom, he's like,
I was like, that's not
he's
real,
like,
man.
he's like, what? He's like, look at mine.
Yeah.
And then he shows his, and it's like completely. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they gave me the wrong
Well,
burger.
here's the thing. You should have had red flags whenever they gave you a piece of bacon. Like that's so like
Yeah, I
counterintuitive.
was like really confused, but regardless, I still ate the burger because it was like, oh wow, I'll just abstain another day. And what
Yeah.
in that case, honestly, I I think God would understand. He'd be like,
Well,
oh
here's
well, technically they tricked you.
well, yeah, you didn't know, and
Yeah,
then here the thing is, you can't waste food now, so
yeah,
you gotta eat it. Just do it
yeah,
another day, you know.
yeah. But yeah, that's that story. I guess we can move on from the vegan
Yeah,
topic.
because I was just thinking, so like, go moving into like conspiracy theories, right? Did you hear about that like Joe Rogan one where so like the free do you know okay, so like I kind of don't really know a lot about it, but I know enough to kind of talk about it where so like people in are more like famous like have power money. There's like this group and kind of not like the Freemasons, but like where they go do like these rituals on this island with the owl and stuff.
Oh,
And this guy just uncovered it. I forget what it was, but he went to the island, so it's a real place. But like, you've never heard of this?
I don't think so.
It's just like this, like,
It's not like
gr-
the island where the people like don't speak English. and then like they like kill people. Is it? Okay,
What?
no, never mind, never
What?
mind, never mind,
What are you
never mind,
talking
never
about?
mind, never mind, never mind.
There's that group. Here, I can look it up if you
Yeah,
like.
look it up real fast.
Well, you gotta say something, or else we just sit here in silence.
Oh,
What are you gonna
a
eat
conspiracy.
for the or a conspiracy
I'll
theory?
think of a
Yeah.
conspiracy theory. Um, actually going off of Michael Jackson, I guess. Just thinking about superstars. There is the conspiracy theory that like Elvis Presley is still alive and he's like living is like a pastor at this one church. Um, although it's like a conspiracy theory, like it's just not true. Like high up people like did facial analyzation of his face. And like, although it's strikingly similar, they talked about how like Elvis's eyes are slightly more apart than his. It was like a whole thing, but that's a conspiracy theory out there that Elvis Presley's still alive. A lot of people say that Michael Jackson's still alive. I don't think anybody's ever said Freddie Mercury's still alive.
Um. Uh.
Did you
Oh.
find
Yeah,
the
so
conspiracy you were talking
The
about?
Bohemian Club is what it's
Ooh, the
called, right?
Bohemian
So
Club.
it's like an elite invitation only social club founded in San Francisco by male artists, writers, actors, lawyers, and journalists, and like the elites. Um, so there's like an annual summer retreat where they go to this grove, Bohemian Grove, right? And there's like a massive owl, and they kind of do like rituals and stuff. And there's like a little altar, and there's this guy. Well, um, so like most notable people like Clint Eastwood,
Oh.
Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, Ambrose
Mm.
Bierce. I don't know who
Oh,
that is.
Mark
Mark
Twain.
Twain.
Mark Twain.
Sorry, Mr. Franny.
Whoa, Mark
um,
Twain.
yeah, but they kind of just they do some weird stuff. So I have heard, but like people are like, yeah, that's not real. Like you're not supposed to really know about that. And then like this one guy just goes on you like he just like films it on his little camera. He just goes and he like does it.
Wow.
Um maybe I'm mashing two things together, but I remember I listened to something about what's his face? Jeffrey Epstein.
Uh-huh.
He would have these like club things where like he'd invite the rich and stuff, and then they go over this island where they like
Oh,
do
yeah.
rituals and stuff. And I think this guy kind of like got his own boat or something. I don't really know
Wow.
for
I mean,
sure.
that whole thing about Jeffrey Epstein and the island came out
That's great. That
a
yeah,
little bit ago, how
all the names and
all the
stuff. Yeah.
names that was
Um,
crazy.
it's kind of crazy. Like what's his face? Who's the guy that sits in the chair? Like is like
Oh,
why can't I think of his
I
name?
can't think of his name. Um,
Oh, the dude that like is like smart and he sits in the chair because he's like got that like thing. He's got that disease, that crippling disease,
oh, give me
and
a
his name
second.
is like. Anyway, he was on the list, and like it's crazy because like what was he doing there? Like not everyone.
Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, Stephen
Oh,
Hawking.
yeah.
Yeah, not everyone.
Because I'm looking at the Bad Friends podcast where
Simply
they're
us.
talking about, I want to go to the island.
Yeah, that's my thing is like not everyone that went could have done bad things, but like you
Yeah,
had to know going there was pretty bad.
sketchy, yeah.
Yeah, so like they yeah, so they do some weird stuff. You guys should go look on it at some
Everybody
point.
go look up the Bohemian Club on
Bohemian
the
Grove.
Bohemian Grove,
I guess they're about the
or
same thing.
club, the number one most trusted site on the internet, Wikipedia.
I
Don't listen to what your
yeah, see
high school
look at
teachers tell
this.
you.
Like look at this.
Oh wow.
Like look at the robes that they wear, you
That would
know.
most definitely give this podcast the E rating,
What?
explicit rating.
This?
I think so.
Yeah, so it just kind of looks like a cult-like thing where they burn stuff and they wear robes and this owl. Yeah, I don't really know enough about it.
That
I
is
just know about it and
crazy.
I thought it was interesting. I think people refute it, but it's real. Like
Wow.
some guy just I don't know if it's just recently, but he just did it.
Wow.
Um, yeah. let me ask Chat GPT what they think about it.
Yeah, we're gonna see what Chat GPT thinks about Bohemian Grove. Um, but let us know in the comments what you think about this
Yeah,
unscripted
it's
episode.
like, oh yeah, yeah,
Like how you're digging it. Yeah.
yeah. Like I want to know the viewer. Like I want to know how what the viewer's day is like.
Yeah.
If we should just pick someone random and be like, you won, and like we'll just come on in. Um, so it's a real place. It's in California.
Okay.
Um, it's men's only club, the annual retreat, prominent figures like we said. So it's shrouded in secrecy, right?
Hmm.
And there's a lot of conspiracy theories about it. Um, Apparently there are gatherings involved in nefarious activities such as occult rituals, secret political discussions, or plot to manipulate world events. Um, Apparently some people think that like the rituals involve symbolism and occult practices. I mean, I saw pictures of it and like there's a big owl and there's like burning at the
Oh
altar. I mean,
wow.
like that, and they wear like all of them wear like hooded robes that kind of look like like crazy, man. Um, yeah,
Wow.
that's crazy.
Can we get another unscripted topic or possible question here?
Well, we talked about conspiracy theories because I just kind of read it and I thought it was
Uh-huh.
interesting. I mean, you can read any of these. So, have you ever done virtual reality?
I haven't.
I actually have it,
Really?
like right there, right there, because I got
Oh.
it like a couple years ago. And do you think that? What do you think about? Since I just brought it up, what do you think about like the Apple Vision and stuff?
Oh, I think it's awesome, but I genuinely don't think it's going to be something that's widespread. Number one, because it's $3,500.
It's a lot.
Number two, that much blue light exposure to your eyes is just
Well, the thing is, like,
unhealthy.
this close to your face, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I think Google, I read something where, like, Google Pixel, not the Pixel, but, like, Google did, like, Google Vision or whatever with glasses.
Uh,
And then everyone started flaming them. They're like, this sucks. Like, this
yeah.
is so
But
dumb.
as soon as Apple does it, it's Apple,
Yeah.
so people
So,
aren't going to really.
like, the thing is, everyone's like, wow, this is so cool. Like, hand tracking and junk, but like I don't know all the specs of Apple Vision, but like essentially Apple Vision, people are just like they're moving stuff with their hands. There's no controllers,
Yeah.
but like stuff like other virtual reality like things, headsets can already do that.
Yeah, I
So it's
think
kind
just
of
because
like
it's Apple, it's like overemphasized.
yeah, and you kind of just look low key kind of silly.
Now, something that is actually in recent news, and I just saw a TikTok about it today, is Disney developing their, I don't even know what you call it, movement floor for virtual reality, of
Oh,
where it essentially looks like it's like a bunch of hexagons on a
uh-huh,
floor,
uh-huh.
and as you walk, it like moves with you. Right?
Oh,
So
uh-huh.
and here's the thing, multiple people can be on it walking in any direction. And it's going to keep you in the same plane, but it's going to feel like you're walking. So you can like walk through like virtual reality stuff. Disney
Oh,
developed that, and honestly
okay.
that is probably more of a technological advance than Apple doing Apple Vision.
So here's my thing. I guess I would have to see it in person to really know if it was good because I don't know if you know, but Disney stopped doing like they started doing on their animatronics like they like would project their faces
Yeah,
and
I
eyes and
saw
stuff,
that. Yeah.
which is like
They did that with a lot of the Frozen
yeah, so I
animatronics.
was on that ride, right? And like good idea, except like I joked that like someone needs to like color match this girl better because her face was like pale white and and like the rest of her body was
Yeah.
like kind of like olive in color. So it was like someone needs to like
Someone needs to get
color
on that.
match,
Yeah.
yeah. But that was about it. I mean,
What else do we got on this?
um,
Um,
what do you? Well, yeah, I mean, do you really care for any of these other questions, or shall I generate more?
generate one more because I'm hungry.
So this is really like helpful. Oh yeah, that too.
There we go.
Um, See,
Mm,
like some of these are kind of lame. Like this first one is like artificial intelligence and its
yeah,
implication
these
for
are like very
society.
smart topics, and we're looking for dumb, stupid, funny
Oh wait,
ones.
what? Why don't I just do that? Uh,
Like the evolving landscape of journalism and media literacy in the digital age. Like these genuinely sound like topics I would hear about in my sociology class.
oh, the
This is
funniest.
actually good.
Your favorites? With debate over what?
Whether
Whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not.
is a hot dog a
I
sandwich?
mean, you want to pick that one?
Yeah, I don't think so
Why?
because the bun isn't like a normal sandwich bun.
I would have to disagree.
Really?
I think it is a sandwich because
Wait a minute. Actually, no. I think I did kind of. I was gonna say it's not a sandwich because the bread pieces are joint together. But if you think about like a Subway sub or a band sub in general, they are
is a
joint together.
stromboli a
Oh
sandwich? It's just enclosed. Like, is a hot pocket a sandwich? It's just like meat and cheese,
no, 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 no,
and
no,
then
no,
it's like
no, no.
bread over. Like, what equates to a sandwich?
I don't. Maybe if you can put lettuce, tomato on it,
You can't. I mean,
looks like a salad's now a sandwich.
I don't.
No, I'm gonna still stick with a hot dog's not a sandwich.
Yeah, I think it is a sandwich. I would have to believe so
Well,
until
here
I'm
we go.
proven incorrect. Um,
What else we got here? Uh,
you see that one meme going around on TikTok where she's like, "You have now been you have now been promoted to one of my elite employees." You've
no, I
never
haven't
seen it?
seen that yet.
What?
Yeah, pull
It's
that up for me.
so funny.
I'm trying to think of other because it says about
You have never
the
been.
your favorite silly memes or internet jokes. I don't really know.
I think a lot of the ones that we like aren't very appropriate for anybody.
Yeah,
You
but
haven't.
like
Okay, you haven't seen this. You haven't
that's
seen.
really funny. If you're
It's
listening to this
so
podcast right
funny.
now, everybody look up that TikTok. It's very funny. I
You
feel
are
like
now one of my
I
elite
feel like there could be really
employees.
good templates made off of
Well,
that.
here's the thing, right? She fired somebody, and I think he's just picking up the trash. And she's like, I fired my person to hand out like flyers for this like promotion for our company. She was like, now give everyone like a flyer that walks through the door. And she's like, now you're one of my elite employees,
That's funny. That's funny.
which is really funny.
I can't think of any other
Um,
really funny
memes are just funny in
let
general.
me go into my recently liked TikToks and see if there's anything I recently liked. Oh, I like well
See,
the
that's what I'm saying. Like,
no,
so
this one is funny because it's like so if you know what's his face? Dave Ramsey.
don't know.
He is the guy that people call with financial help. It's this dude.
Okay.
And they call him and they're like, you know, I am $20,000 in debt and I don't know what to do. And he'll be like, all right, the first thing you need to do is save, save, save. Like he'll walk them through financial
Yeah.
help. But this one was like an AI generated call. It wasn't real, but they just put his voice over it. And the dude's like, I had some bad gas station sushi, and he's like, oh my goodness. And he's like, I'm pooping liquid right now at the gas station.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my goodness. And he's like, I think I'm gonna have to use my hand to wipe. And then Dave is like, wow, I'm really sorry. And he's like, it's all over my face. It
Damn.
was really funny. Anyways,
Um, if you could,
what's
uh,
the most useless talent you possess? Oh, that's a good one. I'll show
uh,
you right now on the video. If you're
oh
watching this
my gosh,
video
I know exactly
podcast,
what you're gonna
I
do.
will
That's
show you on
crazy.
the video.
That's crazy.
Everybody watch.
Do both of your, can you do both of your legs at the same time?
I tried it one time. It got kind of tragic.
So you can do both legs, right?
Not really. It
Okay.
like I can, but it's like I don't. Yeah, I don't think I can because it just wouldn't line up back there right. But yeah, I can put
Um,
my if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, essentially what I just did on video is I put my leg
over
behind
his head.
my head, like
So
behind my head. Yeah.
there's this picture going around. No, it's not going around anywhere. There's this picture that I have, or I have seen of Tyler in our
Oh,
anatomy class doing it in front of the whole class, and he's
uh-huh.
sitting on the ground. Is really
Yeah,
funny.
because we were talking about like double jointed
Yes,
people. Um,
that is very hard to like. I could not do that.
yeah. I'll say the quick story before of how I discovered doing this. So we had this kid in our grade. His name was Sam Shoplick. I guess I just name dropped him. Um,
It's okay. It doesn't listen.
but yeah, so
What is this? I'm
I've been going to school.
intrigued.
We've all been going to. Ben and I went to school with him since like first grade. We've known
Yeah,
him,
yeah,
and it was at Aquinas Academy where we went to elementary
yeah.
school, and we were in gym class one day, and he did it, and he was like, "Can you do this?"
You know what? I think I vaguely remember that. I don't
Yeah,
know if I'm
like
making that up,
I
but like,
remember he was on the floor. Like I can tell you where he was in the gymnasium. Like we were right on the side next to all like the cushioned seats. Before they replaced them with new like nicer seats, and we were just there. And he's like, he did it, and he's like, "Can you do that?" And like I don't know how old I was even. I just know I was in school, and like being a kid, you're like, oh, let me try it or whatever. Like we'll see if I can do it.
yeah.
And I did it, and that's how I learned. Don't know how he learned he could do that. That's a question
It's
for him.
probably
Maybe we'll have him on the podcast then.
I have no way of contacting him.
Yeah, I don't really either. Do you have any other questions before we finish up here?
No. I'm thinking I don't really have any useless talents, I think. I don't really I
No, Ben's
like
a pretty useful, handy guy.
yeah, I don't I'm like a tool.
Ben can cut hair. I mean, we've been over that before, but like that is, I'd say that's a great talent to
I
have.
don't really have any useless talents. Um, yeah, I can't really think of any.
Okay, well, you know what? We can say my talent wasn't completely useless because I remember when I told our teacher in anatomy that I could do that, she was like, "Will you do it? And like, will you let me take a picture and then I'll put it on the like
The PowerPoint.
PowerPoint
Yo,
for like
so
years to come."
your picture is still there,
I'm there somewhere on the no, I don't think it's I don't know if it's on the double jointed page because I'm not technically double jointed.
but you're there
It's just yeah,
nonetheless.
it's like flexibility essentially.
You're still there,
Which
which
is
is really
interesting
funny.
because like I'm pretty flexible, but I can't do a split. Yeah, but yeah,
That would
so that's
hurt
that.
doing the
Yeah,
split. I can't do that either.
yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this podcast.
Yeah, please let us know what you thought if you like this unscripted episode. Um,
Oh, so sorry. There could be a very good chance that we talked about Bohemian Grove and then we just disappear.
wait, really?
I mean, so why you laughing? I mean, so for real.
No
We're
way.
gonna like if we don't do it, if you don't hear from us, we're just dead because the
We're
government. Because like the
we were
men.
sacrificed by the owl in Bohemian Grove.
Well, here's the
Bohemian
thing.
Grove.
We're not we're not important enough, but I'm sure if we were and people cared enough, I'm sure that those people would make us disappear. Like I'm sure, like I'm
Like
telling
if we were on like a high level podcast, like Bad Friends, or like I don't know, like Jake or Logan Paul's
or
podcast,
like
maybe
Joe
Joe
Rogan. Well,
Rogan's
Joe Rogan
podcast.
did talk about it, and like if it was more like pressing, I'm sure that they make us like we did
Maybe
like
if they like talked about it in a bad way or poor way, they were like, "This is all like these people need to die." Maybe they'd be like, "Oh, we can't have people saying this
so
about
like you
Bohemian."
someone knock on your door, it's just the men in black, and you disappear. No one ever know.
That's
Like
funny.
we
They
just
give you a
disappear,
little beeper. They're like, "Look in this for me." Flashed. Boom.
and
You
then
never
you're
remember anything.
well. Anyway, if we don't do any more podcasts because we're gone, they took us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully you enjoyed this little fun episode. Next week we will be completing our long-awaited trilogy of Pet Peeves Part 3. It seems like we literally have had this going before we started the video episode.
I don't know if we will ever complete it,
No,
but
we
we
definitely
will.
will.
We
Next
will.
week. Next week will be this is gonna keep us to our schedule, I guess.
Also, this is the first time we're filming it before we were done at 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, goodbye. We're
Yeah,
gonna go
thank
eat
you.
lunch.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat dinner. This is my dinner, and then I got
Oh.
rehearsal in like less than an hour. So thank you for listening or
All right,
watching.
we'll catch you some other day. Thank you for listening. Bye bye. Peace, peace.